ahead and get started. I'm Charlene Kalirgos. I'm an account manager here at Marquee 360. And today is going to really be for you, anyone who's using Planner or is interested in using Planner and has any specific questions around features or functionality to hopefully get those questions answered. And we will be recording today's session, so if you have to drop, I'll be sending it out to you guys at the end. I also have on the call with me Stella Salome. She is our solutions architect who is very knowledgeable in the tool and going to help answer all your questions today. Do you want to go ahead and say hi, Stella?
Hi, my name is Stella Salome. I'm a solutions architect here at Marquee 360 and excited to answer any of your questions today.
Okay, so a little bit about Marquee 360. We're a Microsoft partner for project and portfolio management and also collaboration. Marquee 360 was actually founded by former Microsoft employees. So we have a really seasoned team with over 20 years of experience in the Microsoft project space. So they've been around since Project Server and Project Online, and now more recently, Project for the Web and Planner. And what we do is we work on the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. So we take the Microsoft suite, enhance it to fit your specific needs, fill in any gaps, and help automate some functions and make your team work more efficiently and help them grow. So to jump right into Microsoft Planner is Microsoft's newest product offering. They're investing a lot of research and development work into optimizing the work management experience, and they're doing this through what they call the new Planner. So previously, we had To Do, Planner, and Project for the Web all as separate solutions. And if you're not familiar, To Do just gave you your own work to focus on, your own tasks in one place. And then you had Planner, which was great for collaboration and managing tasks within teams. And then Project for the Web, where you could do your assignments and some of those deeper project management features like task dependencies and things like that. But what Microsoft found is that it was hard for users to know which tool to use and why, and then switching between tools was a little bit difficult. So what they did is they brought all those things together into one place and called it the new Microsoft Planner. So everything you could do before, you can still do today, but just in one place. So you're not jumping from Planner to Do to Project for the Web. It's just going to help integrate it all into one place. And then also with any of your other Microsoft tools that you're using, such as Teams, Outlook, SharePoint, things like that, and really help support teams of all sizes. And we'll just go ahead and get straight into the questions. We had a few that were already submitted before we started, so we'll go through a few of those. But if throughout you have any questions, feel free to jump in or raise a hand or drop it in the chat. So to start, how can you add the Planner app to Teams? And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Stella, and she can kind of show you in Planner how you'll do some of these things.
All right, so there are two ways to access Planner. There's the official application, which you can get to by clicking the waffle from any of your Microsoft applications. If you don't see it here, you can go to Microsoft 365, all apps, and find the Planner icon. To add it to Teams, we're going to want to click down here on our left-hand navigation in Teams where it says View More Apps. Click on that here where it says Search for Apps. We're going to want to search for Planner, and then we're going to want to go ahead and click on that Planner icon. To pin it to your left-hand nav so you don't have to add it each time, as I've done here, you're going to want to right click and then you'll have the pin option. As you can see here, I have it pinned, so it's giving me the unpin option, but after you add it, you'll want to right click and add pin here. Here is what the full application looks like. Do keep in mind that when there are new general releases, Microsoft is actually releasing them in Teams first and then rolling it out to the full application. So you'll see things like, for example, the Plan with Project Manager agent. That's something you're going to see within the Teams Planner application, but you're not quite going to see in the full application quite yet. So those preview features are going to be in Teams here. So I would recommend utilizing the Planner Teams to stay up to date on everything that you're going to get. Charlene, do you want to go to the next question?
Yes, and before we move forward, if anyone could raise a hand or answer in the chat if you guys are using Planner or who is familiar with Planner, just so we have a better understanding of kind of where everyone's at. Okay, it seems like a few people are already maybe using Planner. Awesome. I'll go ahead and go to the next question, Stella. What's the difference between a plan and a bucket?
So a plan is going to be its own plan in its own, and a bucket lives inside of a plan. So let me go ahead and show, I'm already sharing my screen. So we have here, for example, this is the plan. And within the plan, we can have different buckets. So we're going to have this column here that we can add called bucket. And we can assign specific tasks to buckets, which are managed in the board view here. Now, what we're looking at is a basic plan, which is what I'm sorry, premium plan, which is why I'm able to apply these colors here, as you can see. And then, of course, in my day, we also can use our board view buckets too, and we can actually group by progress, due date, or priority. So this is currently grouped by plan. So I can see in my day here the tasks I have in specific buckets. And then I can also group by progress. So for example, these are not started, but I could mark them in progress by dragging and dropping them here. So buckets can be utilized in a couple of different ways. Similarly, in my tasks as well, I have the bucket view here. It's going to show me my tasks that are not started, in progress, and completed. And I can mark a task as in progress by simply dragging and dropping it into the in progress bucket. Once again, I can also group by due date. So you can see here, these are the ones that are late, due today, tomorrow, this week, next week, and just future after that. No date at all. And I can also group by priority. So once again, I can change the priority of it by dragging and dropping. So this is why we can utilize buckets versus plans.
So, thank you. And the next question is, how can I assign tasks to team members within Planner?
So to assign a task, whether it be a basic plan or premium plan, there's actually a couple of different ways we can do that. So what we're looking at here is a basic plan, and you're going to want to utilize this assignments column here. So if I have a example task here, I'm going to have this example task. Let's say I set my start date to today. I'm going to go ahead and assign it here, and you can search your name here of anyone, and this should be synced with your AD. So you can assign a task to anyone in your AD. They'll receive a Teams notification, and then that task will also appear in their My Tasks area where they can manage the progress. Similarly, in a premium plan, you're once again going to have that assigned to column. Now, a little trick that I like to do is that once I have assigned, let's say I have 3 people on my project that I'm assigning tasks to, like Stella, Charlene, and Aaron, what I like to do is go ahead and just assign them to the first couple of tasks. And then I actually like to utilize the people view here, which we have in premium. And then I can just drag and drop tasks to these people, and that assigns it to them. So this is an easier way to assign tasks to people rather than having to use the grid view. And if I want more information about the task, in my view options here, I can turn off compact mode so I can see more information about the task as well. Alternatively, in the board view here, we can also group by assigned to, and same concept here. Here tasks that are unassigned, I can drag and drop them to assign people here. So you have multiple different options, with the people view being my favorite.
And with all of that, Stella, does Planner send tasks, notifications, or updates when things like this are going on?
Yes, yes, it does. As long as your user has their notifications settings turned on, which we can access that, as you can see, Planner within Teams here. If we go to our settings and then go to notifications and activity, scroll to the very bottom. Under my apps, we're going to see Planner. If I expand this here, I'm going to see a ton of different notifications, such as task assigned to you, show an activity, and banner. These are managed in Teams because they are Teams notifications. So you're not going to be able to see the same notification settings here. Here in the actual Planner app, you're only going to see about 3 different notifications, which are here. Email me when someone assigns me a task. Email me when a task is assigned to me late, due today, or due within the next 7 days. Email me when someone adds me to a premium Planner portfolio. But since this is activated through Teams notifications, you have all of these different notification options. So as long as they have those turned on, in a basic plan, they will receive the notification via Teams, and they will also get an email with the basic plan as well. That task will also appear in my tasks area here with the plan name, where they can manage their progress directly here.
Awesome. And how would I set up recurring tasks within Planner?
That's a great question. So recurring tasks are only actually supported in a basic plan. So just to keep that in mind, if you do need to create a schedule where there are recurring tasks, you're going to want to use a basic plan. Recurring tasks are not supported in premium plans. For a basic plan, you need a plan 1 license. A premium plan, you need a plan 3 license. So in my basic plan here, if I want to make a task recurring, there's 2 ways I can do that. I can click on task details here, and I'm going to see this little column here say repeat, and I can say I want to repeat daily, weekdays, weekly, monthly, yearly, and custom. So this is one way to do it. The other way is that we can go to our schedule view here, and I can see the tasks here. So for example, I can see this one's recurring, this one's recurring. This example task here, let's say I want to make this one recurring. I can click on it here and once again manage it. But this schedule view allows us to see which tasks are already made recurring and also directly manage it and make it recurring by simply clicking on here. So we can see here, these are set up for weekly. I can say view series weekly, and this one is weekly as well. Let's say this one happens every weekday. It's going to add that task every day of the week here.
Awesome. Thank you. And we do have a couple more questions that we got beforehand, but I do want to use some time if anyone here has questions that they brought and they would like us to answer. You can go ahead and unmute. I'm going to ask that question. I just want to make sure we have time for that. So if no one has any questions right now, we'll keep going through these, but feel free to jump in. The next one is, how do I set a baseline in Planner?
That's a great question. So before I answer that, I just want to drop some really good links here into the chat. So what I'm going to drop into the chat here, some really good links that people can utilize. The first one that I'm going to drop in is going to be compare basic versus premium plan. So if we look at that, it's going to give us a little list of this here. So if you're trying to decide what does a basic plan versus a premium plan support. So we can see here, oddly enough, a basic plan, you can have up to 9,000 tasks, but in a premium plan, you can have 1,000 up to 1,500 coming soon. I noticed that a lot of people were already using Planner. This is, as Charlene mentioned, something that Microsoft is investing a lot of research and development in. So you can actually sign up for a newsletter here from Microsoft, and as they add new features, they will send you an email on the new features added to Planner with instructions on how to utilize them. The last one that I added in here is going to be the roadmap. So if you want to see what's coming to Planner and you're excited about it, you can come to this roadmap, Microsoft 365, make sure it's filtered on Planner, which the link I dropped is already on there. And you can see some things that are coming that are, whether they be in development, rolling out, or launched. So those are some things I just wanted to highlight. So let's go ahead and talk about setting our baseline. So baselines can only be set in a premium plan. So this is a basic plan, as you can see here, and I don't have my baseline option. So let's go ahead and go to a premium plan, as you can see here. So to set a baseline by definition is a screenshot of what your schedule looks like at the beginning. So you can measure the variance as task days change. So to set our baseline, we're going to want to hit baseline feature right here. And we can see I've already set my baseline, but I'm going to go ahead and delete my baseline and reset it for the purposes of this. So I would select baseline here, and I'm going to want to create my baseline. And this is going to capture the start date, the finish date, total effort hours and duration. So in the baseline details here, I can see baseline finish, baseline start, baseline duration, and baseline effort. I can see this baseline was created by myself on this date. I can add a note about this baseline here as well. And we can see on the front end here, it says compare with baseline 1. So I can see on the front end, as well as what we're seeing on the back end and the tables, that they're basically going to be releasing the ability to set multiple baselines, but for right now, it's just the ability to set one. Now, what's cool about this baseline feature is I'm going to go ahead and change the last date in my schedule. I'm going to go ahead and move this back a week and make this late. Now that I've made this late, I'm going to check my baseline and I can see I'm 5 days behind. If I want to identify which tasks are late, I can go ahead and click on compare all tasks here. And it's going to add these nice columns here for me where I can measure my baseline start, baseline finish, and variance. So here it identifies for me that this task is the reason why my schedule is now 5 days late. It could have been another task. If I have dependencies, of course, one gets late, all my other ones will be late as well if there's dependencies on it. And we can see here that this is 5 days behind. I can see that at the start of my schedule, when I set my baseline, it was 5/7. Sorry, my finish was 5/15, and now it's 5/8. I'm sorry, baseline finish was 5/8. It's now 5/15. So the variance here is 5 days. And we can see here in the summary task, it's showing that this summary task as a whole is 5 days behind as well. So once again, this can only be done in premium plans, which you need a plan 3 license to do. And you also can see in the baseline details here, the critical paths, so 3 tasks that need attention. It'll show me those 3 tasks here. So these are the ones that were late, and then any overdue tasks as well. I can say stop comparing to get rid of those columns. And once again, to delete a baseline and reset it, we would select the ellipses up here, delete baseline and reset it.
And based on the poll we just did, it looks like people are using both basic and premium plans. And I know you mentioned this is only in the premium plan, Stella. So how could I convert my basic plan to a premium plan and change it back? And it looks like Nicole had a question as well, if you want to answer that one first.
No, Nicole, everyone that, so to answer Nicole's question, if I change a plan to premium on my end, does everyone that has access to that plan have the same features, or do they have to change it to premium also? No. So everyone who has access to the plan will still be able to see it. If they don't have that plan 3 license, they'll be able to see it basically in like the limited like basic view. But as you're assigning people tasks, they're still going to see their tasks in their My Tasks area where they can manage their progress. Does the MS365 A5 license include the premium planner? I'm actually not familiar with that license. Erin, is that something we could look into for Albert? Oh, Allison answered yes. So Allison's more familiar with the licenses. So Albert, the MS365 A5 license does include the premium planner. So to answer Charlene's question, how do we convert a basic plan to a premium plan? To convert a basic plan to a premium plan, what we're essentially going to do is try to access one of our premium features. So this is a basic plan, and as you can see here, there's a timeline feature. If I hover over it, it's going to say timeline view premium. When I click on this, it's going to ask me convert this to a premium plan. Now, something very important to keep in mind is if you have any features in your plan that are not supported in a premium plan, such as recurring tasks, it will not be able to do a direct conversion of your plan. So instead, it's going to make a copy of your plan and remove those recurring tasks to when it was initially, when the recurring task initially started. So if I had a task that started today and was recurring every day on a week, when I convert it, it's only going to show it on there as today. And like I said, it'll make a copy. So it'll have the new name of the project will say copy, basic plan test, and then the original plan will still exist. So if you do convert, you want to make sure that you go and you rename that copied plan to the actual name and then delete your original plan, as it's not best practice to have 2 working versions of the same plan. Now, when we convert, this is the link. Actually, if you follow this link, this is the same link that I dropped in the chat here that compares the 2. So that's how you can access this link here easily. I would say, yes, convert now. Now I have recurring tasks in this. So once again, it would make a copy of it. Let's say I have converted to a premium plan and I decided I want to convert to back to a basic plan. You can actually do that by clicking up here on the name of the plan, scroll down. Interesting. So I'm not sure if they've removed that option, but typically when you want to convert back to from premium to basic, at the very bottom of this area here, there would be an area that says convert my plan back to a basic plan, and you would click on that link. I'm actually going to investigate this because I'm not sure if they've removed that ability or not, but it used to exist right down here in this area. Erin, can we mark that as something to look into? I'm not sure why they would have removed
Definitely.
that.
I'll check mine. Mine as well.
Okay. Because we were on a call, right? I'm not losing my mind, Erin. We just did that on a call
We
yesterday,
just
right?
did it yesterday,
We just did it
yes.
yesterday, guys. I'm not losing my mind, I promise. So that's where that existed before here. I'm not sure if they've moved that location to somewhere else or removed that ability altogether. I do know that there were some issues caused by that, just because in a premium plan you have so many more features to manage your tasks, such as dependency, effort hours, custom task columns, all of these things. So I have done it before and it had to strip away all of those in order to convert it back. Um, so we'll look into that and send out an email to everyone in here about what's going on with that. Now, as I mentioned, this newsletter is very helpful to sign up for because they are consistently changing this. And you can see here, there's a lot of things on the roadmap they have launched that are coming out, two full pages worth. So this is a great tool to utilize, but it is one that's ever changing. For example, as of last week, they added the quick look column to basic plans, which did not exist there before. Additionally, you were not able to, up until last week, move your columns in a basic plan into a different order. You couldn't do that. So as of about a week ago, we now have the quick look column. As of about 4 weeks ago, we also now have labels. Charlene, do we want to move on to our next question?
Yes. Can I create custom task fields in Planner?
In a premium plan, you sure can. In a premium plan, we can create up to 10 custom task columns. The way we would do that, so in a premium plan, you're going to get 17 what we call out of the box or Microsoft columns. In a basic plan, you're going to get 9. So as you can see here, I've already created some custom task columns, such as critical task, absolute finish, and these are the 2 ones I've created. To create a new custom field, you're going to want to go to in a premium plan only, add column here. You're going to want to select new field. And the options here are text, date, number, yes, no, or choice. So if I created a choice, for example, I could name my field. I can give it some choice options here, and I can actually assign colors to my choices too. I can create it. And then later on, so we can see this one's already a choice column. As I mentioned, the limit is 10. So if I hit my 10 limit and I decide I want a new one, all I do is have to go here, edit. I can delete this one, and that gives me one more column back towards that 10 limit. Also, I can come in here and add a new choice, edit the choices, all of that, and edit the name as well. So once again, just a reminder, you can do text, date, number, yes, no, or choice for new custom fields, and the limit is 10. So I see a question, can we create a template for others to use? Yes. So the way I would do that essentially is I would create a plan, which I have a good example of here. I've created one here called schedule template. So this is an example of a schedule template that I really like. I really like the task names. I like the way I have it set up. I like the effort and duration. What I would do is I would just name the schedule template and you can pin it. And in here, share, you're going to want to add anyone to the group that would need to utilize this as a template. And whenever I want to now use this as a template, from the top here on the name, I'm going to select this drop down and say copy plan. It's going to name this here. Now, the one thing it will not copy over is resources, unfortunately. But as you can see here, my checklist items, my notes, my fields, even, effort, everything is going to carry over, even dates. So I would come in here then and say new project. So that is how we utilize this as a template. Now, oddly enough, I knew I wasn't losing my mind, and for some reason it's showing here, not the others. We'll try and figure out why. But here's how we convert. This is exactly what I was talking about. So I told you it was here. So here it was, premium plan. The basic plan was converted to a premium plan on 3.6. Switch back to basic here. So this is how I would switch it back to a basic plan. Now, oddly enough, I'm not quite sure why it's showing up in this one and not the other one we looked at. So I'm going to investigate that to figure out why. But this was a plan that initially was a basic plan. I converted it, and now I can switch it back to basic by saying switch back to basic. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to downgrade? If you downgrade this plan, 2 different plans will exist. So when you're downgrading, it does not make a direct conversion. It's going to make a copy of it. Potentially, yeah. Someone saying maybe you didn't switch the other project from basic to premium. Potentially. I do believe, though, I gave this one during a training, so I do believe this was one that I created as basic and then converted, but maybe not, potentially. That is a good theory, though. Charlene, do you want to do another question?
Yeah, we'll do one more real quick. Does Planner support agile projects?
Good question. So how we're going to support agile projects, the best way for that is basically in our board view here, we can go group by sprint. We're going to have one default sprint here that's going to create for me, and then I can create additional sprints. Of course, our sprint dates can't overlap. So as you can see here, if I tried to create a new sprint that was, for example, from here to here, it's going to give me an error that you couldn't create a new sprint for this project. There's already a sprint with these dates. So it's not going to let me create that. So we have our backlog. Now do keep in mind other tools in Microsoft. When I drag and drop a task into this, it would update the date of the task to match my sprint. That's not going to do that here. So the best support we have for agile projects is grouping by sprint in the board view and creating and dragging and dropping the task.
Stella, do you mind if I just say something? So right now, though, you are in a premium plan, correct?
Yes.
Right. So built into the premium plans is that built-in backlog and sprint capability. But if you only have the ability to create basic plans, you can just set your boards up that same way. Create a board, call it backlog, then create a board, call it sprint, and do it. It's just the premium plans kind of give you that running start, which is really nice.
Yeah, very good to know. Thank you, Allison. I think that concludes all of the questions we had. The last few minutes, if anyone else has any questions, specific use cases or anything like that that you would like answered within Planner, now would be a good time. If no one has any questions, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'll be sending out the recording, and then if anything else comes up, then you can just send me an email. I'll drop my email in the chat. And then I think Aaron also has a survey that if you guys have time to complete, that would be really great.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Charlotte. I
everyone.
did put the survey in the chat, and we're also having a planner class next Tuesday. That is a paid for class. I did drop the link in there. If your team needs some more help, if you would like some hands-on training, please feel free to sign up for that one. And if that date doesn't work, please reach out to us and we can set something up as well.
So thanks,
Okay.
Aaron. Thanks, Stella. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Charlotte.